I'm going to tell you about on the French screening program. It was a long way. The results of population-based trials in Europe were available between 1996 and 1999. In France, we had a consensus conference on colon cancer in 1998, which one of his proposals was to implement without delay pilot studies, but this recommendation was not taken into account. In 2000, we have the recommendation of the Advisory Committee of Cancer Experts of the EU, which were published. And it was followed by a decision of a board of the French Society of Gastroenterology to support the implementation of fecal occult blood screening. And it was they made a strong lobbying directed towards the health authorities, using TV programs and national newspapers. In 2001, the colorectal cancer screening was included in the European Code Against Cancer, and it was only in 2003, that's 5 years after it has been proposed, that pilot studies were started. And in that year, we have also, we heard this morning, the EU Council recommendation suggesting colorectal cancer screening with fecal occult blood tests. In 2006, taking account of the results of the pilot studies, it was decided to progressively generalize colorectal cancer screening. And by the end of 2008, we have now a nationwide population-based fecal occult blood screening, which has become a reality. The organization is the following. At the national level, we have a coordination at the National Cancer Institute. It's a technical group associating health authorities and experts. At the regional level, we have a technical committee looking at the implementation of screening in the local areas. We call that département, some districts. In each of these districts, we have a local coordinating center. The recommendation, which has been published in the official journal of the Republic, is that subjects aged 50 to 74 are included in the screening program, performing fecal occult blood tests every 2 years. There are some exclusion criteria, of course, recent digestive symptoms, first degree relative with an index case diagnosed before 65, a personal history of colorectal cancer or adenoma, a colonoscopy during the last 5 years, or a severe illness. And these exclusion criteria represent 10 to 15% of the population. These guidelines indicate how the test has to be distributed and how it has to be interpreted and what data has to be collected for the evaluation of the program. A few words on the monitoring center, which is at the local level. It's a non-profit organization directed by a public health doctor, assisted by a technical staff, and this structure is in charge of both colorectal cancer and breast cancer screening. They have to inform physicians and health professionals, and in particular, they are in charge of training the GPs. I will say a few words about that. They have to organize the information of the population, a rigorous call recall system, and they have to organize the centralized test interpretation. And they have to collect data to evaluate the screening campaign. A few words on the training of primary care physicians, which is something very important. It's a hard work, but it works for a long time. In the areas in which we started screening, it's more than 20 years ago now, and it's working as well as at the beginning. So we are relying on small groups in order to have active participation of GPs. In the first meeting, we have a relatively short theoretical information on colorectal cancer and on screening. because that's not so well known by GPs, which is followed by a relatively long active discussion in order to have the GPs understanding what they have to do. And generally, there is a second meeting to remind the planning of a screening campaign and to give the tests to the GPs, and as well as the material necessary to evaluate the campaign. And the GP have to explain and give the test and to identify persons needing colonoscopy screening and not fecal-occult blood screening. The invitation strategy is the following. We have an invitation letter which is sent to each person involved in the program with a small information brochure. At the same time, a press campaign is organized and posters are hung in GP's waiting room. GPs explain and give the test during a 4 to 6 month period, generally the first part of the year, and after the holidays, and after 3 months, a reminder letter is sent with a questionnaire to identify exclusion criteria. And after the 6 month period and the summer period, the test is mailed to non-participants, again with a questionnaire on exclusion criteria. The importance of the participation of GPs is seen on this slide. You see that during the first screening campaign, 85% of the tests they gave were performed, and afterwards they were more effective because in the succeeding campaigns, more than 90% of the tests given by the GPs are performed. So if they are actively involved, a high number of tests are done. But we know that all subjects are not visiting a GP during a short period of time. And so this is the reason why we have to add the postal invitation in order to contact those who are not visiting their GP. The participation is much lower in the postal phase, between 28 and 34%, but these two ways are necessary to achieve a sufficient participation rate. Another reason of the importance of participation is the problem of the cost per year of life saved. We evaluate with our model that with a 55% participation rate, we can expect an 18% decrease in mortality, and the cost per year life saved was estimated to be a little more than 3,300 euros. If you increase participation to 65% by 10%, the decrease in mortality will be 22%, and the cost per year life saved will be decreased by 20%. In contrast, if the participation is only 35%, you have a decrease in mortality, an expected decrease in mortality of only 9%, and an increase of the cost per year life saved of 86%. So for many reasons, it's important to achieve a participation as high as possible. One slide on the advice of the GP on the screening campaign. After the training, about 3/4 were motivated for participating. 12% were not really motivated, and 12% were skeptical about the outcome. But among these 24% of GPs, 80% participated for two reasons: by moral obligation for some of them, or for not being different from the others for the other group of GPs. The main constraint for them is the time spent to convince the patients. It's about 5 to 10 minutes per consultation at the beginning. After the following years, it does not take much time, but during the first screening campaign, it's a problem. And their main motivation was to participate to a screening activity. This was something important, but they thought it was impossible to achieve, and they were very happy to do that. And the second important thing for them was the valorization they get from their patients and from health authorities, which gave them a small amount of money for participating. So after doing the test on 2 samples of 3 consecutive stools without any diet restriction, the test is sent back to a central analysis center with a prepaid envelope, And in case of negative test, the subject receive the results. It is told him that he has to repeat the test within 2 years. And it is also indicated that in case of digestive symptoms, he has to see his GP without delay. In case of positive test, the GP has to prescribe a colonoscopy. Here are the results of the pilot phase. On average, the compliance rate was 42%. It varied in about 1/3 of the areas. It was over 50% or over. And in a little more than 1/3, it was too low, between 31 and 34%. But many cases, the rules were not followed. And for instance, in the area of 31% participation, there was the test was not mailed. And when they do that, in the next screening campaign, it goes up to 46%. On average, the positivity rate was 2.7%. One of the limits of our program is that the participation to colonoscopy was only 86%, which is lower than in the north of Europe. The detected cancer were 2.3 per 1,000. That represents about 10% of all colonoscopy. And the detected rate for adenomas was 7.2 per 1,000, about 1/3 of all colonoscopy. That's what was expected. And at the end, I want to say a few words on how people participate to the screening campaign. You can see that the most important reason was a proposal by the GP, but also that the letter received at the beginning of a screening campaign was very important, and it was shown in another study. The reasons for non-compliance were similar to those that we saw this morning. I feel not concerned, or I have no symptoms, I have no reason to do the test, so some more education is necessary to explain that. And in a small proportion of subjects, I don't want to know, and this proportion was much more higher 15 years ago. Most participants were satisfied by the screening campaign. What they appreciate is that the test was easy to perform. The results were sent very rapidly because the test is interpreted on the day it is received, and the results are sent on the same day, and the post office is working quite well in France. So in 2-3 days, the results are available. The fact that the test was free of charge, and also the information given were also positive aspects. Among the negative aspects, the fear of the results, and for a small proportion, the inconvenience of fecal manipulation. So in conclusion, I can say that since the end of 2008, colorectal cancer screening is offered to the French population aged 50 to 74, that the strategy is based on a biennial fecal occult blood testing, a structured organization with a rigorous call recall system and quality insurance was set up in each administrative area. In some areas, it was possible to reproduce the results of trials, but in others, improvements are needed. Thank you.